I did put a camera up on the ceiling, but it just shows my bald head. And I can't go more than 3 podcasts in a row with a hat on.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like people are thinking, oh, he's just hiding the fact that he's bald. So I have to reveal the baldness every third or fourth. And that way, when people see me at conferences, like, oh, shit, you're bald. I didn't know. I call that pulling a John Now.
Oh my God.
So last time I ran up on John Now at the lobby of the Four Seasons in Austin last year. He goes, oh shit, you got so old and big and bald. And I was like, thanks, John.
Anything else?
Anything else? You look like $1 million, asshole.
Well, Harry,
Like $2 billion.
Yeah, right. It might be time to go to Westlake Dermatology. I'm just saying, you got to look the part of the publisher, okay?
Yeah, well, all right. Well, welcome everybody to BeerNet Radio, the podcast where all your dreams come true. We've got some special guests that are about to arrive, but I thought before we got into that we'd discuss some of the week's news. I've got Jen Litz-Kirk here and Jordan Driggers, our beer editors. And so, Jen, what news has caught your fancy this year? I mean, I'm sorry, this week. Let's not get too...
This year. Well, geez, this year. Yeah. Well, Jay and I just broke a story about AB and its craft footprint, Wicked Weed. We knew there was Wicked Weed news coming down the pike, and we were like, oh, no, they're not giving that away, are they? But no, they're not. Jay, why don't you tell them about what they're doing with Wicked Weed, and I'll follow up with the expo.
Yeah, so they're kind of doing a little shuffling of their craft production by getting rid of the Portsmouth brewery. Well, not getting rid, ceasing operations there in New Hampshire. That was the old Red Hook Brewery and a Craft Brew Alliance facility where they kind of produced Wicked Weed and then CBA brands. So now they're going to invest $1 million into Wicked Weed, and with that, there's really not a whole lot going on there anymore. So they're just going to cease production altogether there and move everything to Asheville. And everything that was there will go back to kind of their respective facilities in the network.
From the Portsmouth Brewery.
Which is, as Jen will point out, a trend of what they've been doing.
So shutting down the production facility in Portsmouth, reinvesting that money into the brand, and they're moving it to Wicked Weed's Asheville brewery, not AB's New Jersey brewery, I guess.
Right. Going back to Asheville, which, the news of Portsmouth getting shut down was kind of buried because everything was about, we're investing back into Wicked Weed in Asheville after Asheville's kind of been devastated by this flood. So it took a while to get to the bottom,
to get to the real news.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and this isn't new because this is what they basically did with Elysian and Golden Road in November too. They said they're investing about $1.7 million each into Golden Road's Anaheim Brewery and Elysian's Capitol Hill Brewery. But then meanwhile, they were downsizing Golden Road's original Atwater Village location and closing Elysian's Airport Way facility. And then, of course, as you well know, Harry, there was similar things with Molson Coors and Chippewa Falls and 10th Street, and all of that moved over to Molson Coors Milwaukee Brewery, right? So this is just the continuing right-sizing of the craft footprints by the big brewers.
It's sad. It's a bummer, but the industry does have too much brewing capacity. I mean, we've said that on this podcast many times, and the reality is that the most inefficient, meaning the smaller ones, are going to get, especially in Portsmouth, which is near nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, what are you shipping to? A bunch of elk?
Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no beer going into Canada, so we know that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of borders and tariffs,
maybe it'll be a new spot for Stella Artois production. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty much exclusively craft, so I assume it's a nice brewery that they retrofitted, years back. So
right, because that was, Red Hook was one of the first major craft brewers to go cross country. Right, because instead of shipping across the Rocky Mountains, which is very expensive and time consuming, they were the first to build an East Coast brewery. And, and then Sierra Nevada followed and New Belgium followed and others.
To varying degrees of success.
Right, right. And it's all come full circle to, wow. I mean, God, I feel so old. because I was there when Red Hook built that brewery. God damn
You're
it.
not old. You're just, living your third life now. That's
Just
all.
live on and on and on.
Do you guys feel like, let's interrupt the news for a moment of existential levity. Do you feel like you've lived several lives in your life? Like, do you feel like 20-year-old you was just literally a different person,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh,
It's weird.
totally.
Absolutely. Even at this job. I mean, I remember being
Yeah.
so psyched to, where do you want me to go? I'll go wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
I can be gone for a week, 2 weeks. I can go from this trip to the next trip without ever coming home. And now I'm like, oh, guys, let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, let me check with my boss, my real boss.
I remember
I
going to
forget.
brewery meetings, that like Molson Coors and AB, and it was like, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what the ads are, and I can't wait to see. And now it's like, oh, same shit, different year. But
Yeah.
it's still cool to go. I don't mean to
Yeah.
complain. I like it's an honor to be invited, obviously,
Yeah.
but still, you've been to 30 of them. It was like, oh, all right.
We love the access. That's for
Sure.
sure.
Absolutely. And Harry, obviously you have a lot of context, and you're the whole deep dive on the Midwestern Premium. And yes, we've been talking about the Midwestern Premium a lot, but it was like what's that show? My So-Called Life? And there was that guy who was always mentioned, but nobody ever saw him in the actual show. That's like
Right.
the Midwestern Premium, right? Like
Yes.
everybody talks about it, but we don't know exactly what it is. Bill's behind
Right.
the camera.
Exactly.
And
It's a
he's like, what the fuck are you
shadow.
talking about?
You're right. It's just this kind of this shadow conspiracy that nobody can really explain, but we
Right.
just know it's there and that it's not great.
Right. Yeah.
So,
It's bad.
yeah. And
So,
I hope I shed some light on it. Even I couldn't explain it fully. Like it's still a little opaque. The fact that Platts is the one that sets the price, it
Yeah.
is like Beer Business Daily setting the price for beer in the U.S. because they're just a trade pub. I mean, it's not like they're a government authority or anything. It's a private company.
Yeah.
And how has that not been? I mean, you said that there has been some regulation and investigation, but how has that not been busted up? Like, how is that allowed to continue to exist in the way that it exists? I don't understand.
I don't know either. It's a mystery, Jen.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Interesting.
All right. So why don't we let our guests in and we'll introduce them.
How you guys doing?
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Howdy.
What's
How are
going
you,
on?
Alex? And there's the man. Oh, wow. What an honor. John Daly. Hello, Mr. Daly. Welcome to BeerNet Radio.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Alex, let me introduce you to, and I'm sitting here with our beer editors. This is Jordan Driggers sitting apart from me, and then our senior editor, Jen Litzkirk, is on the Zoom. So I'd like to welcome to BeerNet Radio Alex Pratt, who is the founder of Good Boy Vodka, which is a fast-selling RTD producer that skyrocketed to 1 million cases in under 3 years, which is incredible and kind of surprised me, actually. We're also fortunate to have one of golf's all-time greats with us, John Daly, and that's because Good Boy Vodka is the home of the fast-growing John Daly vodka tea cocktails, which we have right here with us.
Ayo.
If you haven't seen this brand, you will. Good Boy has expanded to about 42 states with a good amount of beer wholesalers. I think mostly AB wholesalers, but we'll get into that. But John Daly, I've always been an admirer of you, not just because you're a great golfer, but you seem to have a lot of fun, and you realize that it is a game and it's supposed to be fun. And I love that. Having said that, Jen, why don't you get us started with some questions for these guys in their new RTD?
Let's go to the basics, right? So, Alex, I want to start with you. From what I've read, you're a pilot, you race boats. So tell us your story, what's your background, how'd you come to the bev alc industry, and of course, how did you link up with John Daly?
Yeah, great story. So, my family came from trailer manufacturing. We built everything from the orange trailer that you'd see outside of Home Depot to the trailer that would, they'd put the NASA space shuttle on. We did everything in between,
Cool.
Big into oil and gas and the truss industry, high pressure vessels. And I ran sales for the company. We sold our company to private equity about 6.5 years ago and fell into the elk bev business by accident, actually. And so when we sold our company, I started working for the private ownership, the private equity that purchased us. And about 2.5, 3 years into it, I started the business, Good Boy Vodka. We started as just a spirit, just a glass bottle, high proof spirit. We just had 2 SKUs out, 750 and 1 liter, and kind of saw where the consumer was shifting to this RTD canned beverage, kind of shift, and we decided to just try it out. And so we launched a seltzer line, and Southern Glazers Wine Spirits gave us a national distribution deal. And long story short, I quit my big private equity job and decided to try to take a whack at the RTD industry, and it's been interesting.
Is it more fun than private equity?
Oh yeah, it's a lot more fun. Yeah. I'm wearing a hat because I'm losing my hair dealing with with all the stress every day, but it's okay.
Look at my head. In fact,
yeah, I got a good view of your head.
I was just telling these guys, I've been wearing a hat on the podcast, and I need to not wear a hat about every fourth time so that people don't think I'm hiding the fact that I'm fucking bald.
Yeah, I like it.
I can't have it. Showing up at a conference and people going, "Holy shit!" Like a jump scare. Like it's bald.
They're used to seeing you with a hat on all the time. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I watched a few of your podcasts. You always have. I was like, we should have sent him Good Boy hats. He's always got a hat on. So That's awesome.
This is great, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for drinking it. We love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, so John and I met on the golf course. We met at Old Hickory Country Club in Nashville, and kind of became friends from there. And what do you say, John? About 6 months after we met, we said, "Hey, everybody knows the Arnold Palmer drink is iced tea lemonade, and everybody knows when you add vodka to it, it's called the John Daly." And they've been making this drink for decades, and nobody made the official John Daly that John himself approves of, right? And so we took that idea and we made the official one. So all those knockoff iced tea lemonade vodkas, you can only drink the real one. And so John and I became friends after that, and the rest has been history, right, John?
Yeah, we're sitting on Old Hickory porch. We got done. He says, "Try my vodka." And back kind of before I started drinking about 30 or 40 of me a day. Good boy. I drank it straight, and I said, "Well, if it's close to the good, the good vodkas, let me just give me a bottle." I sat there 3.5 hours later, the bottle was gone. I said, "Yeah, let's do something, but let's make a non-carbonated drink. Let's give it a shot." You've got a lot of seltzers out there that are carbonated. I'd like to do a drink that's non-carbonated where, people don't always like carbonated alcohol. No, we did it. And the drink is just fabulous. It's something that, I haven't had a hangover with it. I mean, and the problem with it is once you drink one, you got to drink a bunch more because it's so good.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a big problem for repeat sales. But I that's the one thing I noticed that I liked about it is that it doesn't have carbonation. I don't need any more bloating than I already have. You know what I'm saying? Like I just
for sure.
No,
yeah.
There's always that gas out of my body, not put more gas in it.
Yes.
The great thing about it is, I don't drink sweet tea. I don't drink sweet tea. I said, just try it. Then they go, "Well, you don't taste the sweet tea." I said, "No, it's so perfect." I wasn't a sweet tea guy either, but drinking this, you don't taste it. The flavor is just so perfect. And I've got a lot of people that didn't think they liked tea and now are drinking the what out of my drink, and it's awesome.
You can cuss on here. It's okay, John. We do all the time.
Oh, he's got the green light now.
Everyone goes, no. Jay, I know you have a lot of questions, so over to you.
Yeah, no, John, this isn't the first alcohol business venture you've been involved in. How many times have people come to you wanting to have you sponsor a brand or craft a brand with you? And I know you talked about the taste, and that kind of set this one up for you. But can you talk about, the people that want you to get on an alcohol brand?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a bunch. I mean, I was with Fusion for a long time out of Chicago when everything was a malt beverage, sugar base. And, I think Skinny Girl got bought and they kind of went away. Then, the seltzer drinks came out. That kind of took that type of drink away. And, the seltzers have been around for a while. And when me and Alex talked about this, I go, let's just do a non-carbonated. Let's start a non-carbonated, alcohol, because I think it'll taste better. And I can't believe we're sitting here, 3-4 years later. We're in 42 to 45 states. We're getting repeat sales. I'm doing a lot of signings. I was just up in Ontario, California, did 2 signings, and there was over 1,000 people that came through that door, this liquor store, and another 1,000 at my buddy's restaurant. And, 150 cases right then are gone. And it's just awesome to know that people not only still want autographs and stuff from me, but what's even more importantly, it's not just me, it's the drink itself. It's so good it's not something I really have to sell, but I want to sell it because I want us to do great and I want everybody to have a chance to taste it. That's 21 years old and older, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, let me ask you this: 0 to 3 million cases in a few years. That's kind of unheard of in our industry. That's pretty fast. So, how did you break through? Because there's thousands of these SKUs, right? Where are consumers finding this, and where do you guys do your most volume?
Yeah, so we kind of did everything backwards in the alcohol industry. Coming from the manufacturing space and not knowing a lot about alc bev. I mean, I always wanted to just hit for the home run, and so what we did is instead of going super deep in markets, we decided to go super wide first. And so we went from one state quickly to 7, then to 13, then we were in 30, and then this last year we just finished off, and now we're in 45 markets. And we really didn't go too deep into the markets. I more so wanted to take advantage of all the national, large format accounts, the Krogers of the world, the Walmarts, and we were lucky enough to, get placed in those accounts. And as we started marketing, the pull started to happen, and then we started to really target, the channels where low ABV really excels, right? The small format, the independents, the C-store channels, and that's kind of how we started growing the business. And now, we've of course, built out all the different regions. We've got directors in charge of each region, and then we got our state managers, and then below them, area sales managers. And we really started to build the foundation once we had this giant wingspan. And so I think that's a lot different than kind of the go-to-market strategy they tell you to follow, when you're reading how to start an alc bev business. But it worked out well for us. I mean, we had to kind of work with the capital we had at the time, and you really got to drive profitability in the off premise, and we dominated in the off premise. And now we're about 35% on premise, 65% off, and so we're really trying to push on premise and drive those bars and restaurants and drive trial and liquid to lips. And it's been super successful, and we're just kind of starting to expand that into all of our markets.
If I had to guess, and I don't know anything, I would bet the Southeast is your best market. Is that right?
Actually, the Southeast is becoming an amazing market for us, but we started the brand in Michigan, and so
Say the Midwest.
the Midwest is big
Midwest.
for us.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got
See,
some
I
big
told you I
hitters
didn't know
there.
anything, and I proved myself right. So
Yeah,
Well, I think
they're
after we signed with Publix, I don't know how many stores we got with Publix, all of Florida. So that probably boosted up maybe about the same as Midwest. But I just
Yeah.
love the fact that we're growing so fast, and people are loving the drink, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And then, somebody had mentioned, one of y'all had mentioned Southern, and I did see you guys, I think we're talking with Tucker Carlson or something a while ago, and had mentioned Southern. So are y'all still with them, or have you transferred more to like the AB wholesalers, and how does that work?
Yeah, so we started off with Southern. Southern's still in a lot of our markets. When we started our company, we were a vodka business. We had like you said, 1 or 2 SKUs of vodka. Our like 175s and our 50 mLs and all that stuff didn't really come out until just the last few years ago. And so we really were trying to build a spirit business. And obviously the Southern Glaziers, the RNDCs of the world, they're the best at large format, and they're the best at executing with national regional accounts. And when we got in the RTD market, our business kind of pivoted a little bit, and the go-to-market strategy from a Southern versus an Anheuser-Busch house is very different. And low ABV, like I said, excels in very specific channels. The independents, the small formats, the C stores. And so the guy putting Bud Light in those stores is in there maybe once a day, maybe twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. Southern doesn't operate like that, right? And so to get the high,
once you put it in a can,
yeah,
it's got to go with a beer wholesaler.
Let them take over.
Let them do their thing. And
Yeah.
what their thing is to park somebody in those accounts that live there. They ought to just pitch a tent behind the dumpster and live
Yes.
there, because
Yeah.
they're there all day anyway. So
yeah.
They're
I can't
dripping
tell you
it
how
and
many
ripping it,
times the Kroger would run out of product, and we'd send an email. They're like, our team was in there this morning at 8 a.m. and here's the picture of your stack. We're like, well, it's gone. Send more people in. So for us, it's as a new brand, we've kind of got through the, hey, it's hot, it's new. Are people going to come and rebuy it? Are they going to continue to love it? We've kind of got through that stage. And one thing I want to highlight is our VPOs. Last year during third quarter, the Good Boy Vodka John Daly iced tea was the #1 tea-based VPO product in the entire country. We beat everybody.
That makes
And so,
sense.
we don't have as many stores as the High Noon Teas or the Surfsides, et cetera, but per account we sold more. And so, that just shows that the consumer demand is there. We just need to execute on our side, making sure products in stock, building bigger displays and helping kind of, service that consumer for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And tell us about the marketing, because obviously you have a built-in platform with John Daly, with golf, with racing. So how do you leverage that? And then, of course, you've got the cause marketing angle of it, and that's really important too.
Yeah, yeah. So, when we sold our business, our family was really big into giving back. And, one thing that John and I aligned on big time is, our charities. And so, John and I really built our relationship originally on, our charity work. And so John's got an amazing charity, and, we've started our own nonprofit a few years ago, and we really targeted helping American veterans and warrior dogs right out of the gate. And it was amazing. Our taglines, every paw helps a pup. We dove deep into hyper local markets, trying to make big impacts with small dollars, and it worked. And the synergy between our brand giving back and trying to help these communities was bigger than just a new exciting RTD. And so that really helped accelerate the brand. And then since we've formed our charity, John and I have done charity events together. John's charity's been around for a long time. He's huge into helping the Boys and Girls Club and everything he does. And together just create this amazing synergy where, we're a fun, exciting new, Elk Bev business, but we're giving back and we're making changes. And our charity's grown so much. We're doing all kinds of different hyper local charities now. Last October we did a big thing for animals. We did 7 days, 7 shelters in 7 states. We sent a team
Awesome.
around, and we wrote checks and helped adopt dogs and waive fees and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, the charity piece has been huge for us, and it still is, and it won't go away for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all need to come to
that
Texas. Come do it here. We'll all
Yeah.
meet
Yeah,
up.
I mean,
We'll
I
make
was
it
going to
another pod.
say that it's kind of brilliant, Alex, because really everybody loves dogs, right?
Everybody, more than
And
their
everybody
kids.
loves John
Yeah.
Daly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's no,
exactly.
and if you don't like dogs or John Daly, then who the fuck are you? And why nobody likes you?
You're not an
you know?
American. Yeah,
So,
exactly. Right. Yeah.
so yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I told the team, I said, hey, now we're starting to venture into Mexico, and we sell a ton in the Cayman Islands, and Aruba's getting our product soon. And so they're I'm like, hey, we're gonna have to maybe shift some of this marketing because we're like so American. But they're like, no, it seems like we love it. If you don't like John Daly and helping American veterans and warrior dogs, you're not American. So it's been fun. It's awesome. Yeah, the marketing is everything. Obviously in these businesses, a great product is great, but it's got to be available and people have to know where to buy it. And so John does an amazing part there. I'm sure if you guys follow him on social media, if you don't do it, he's a big believer in the brand. And I don't know, John, do you ever think it was going to be as big as it is today?
Not this fast. I always thought it was going to be big because it tastes so good, and I didn't think it'd grow this fast. But that's because of what our team's done and you've done, Alex. It's been wonderful. I mean, all of our reps, God bless them, because they didn't know what they were getting into, and now they know, and they're busy all the time now. And I'm out here on the West Coast fixing to do a Bevmo signing at La Quinta, and hopefully there'll be a big turnout. We've had great success in the turnouts of the signings, and I'm here to grow the brand, and I want to drink the brand. I mean, there's a lot of athletes that get involved in things. They don't even use the stuff that they're supposed to. And I've always been loyal to the people that I've always been sponsored by or done deals with. I've got to like the product, and I love this product. I think it's just one of the best drinks you're ever going to find. And what's amazing is I think our sales were pretty big in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana over the winter. I think we might have outsold some big name brands. I won't mention them on the seltzer side, but to say we're a summer drink, I think that's out the window. We're an everyday drink now, and I just love that. I think our team's done a great job, and our reps are working their butts off, and it's just we're a great family, and we're going to keep growing this and keep raising money for the dogs and having fun, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, kind of back to your marketing question. Yeah, we mix in all of that positive energy and everything we're trying to do with the charity side. And we have kind of this fun, extreme sports side. We do Porsche Cup cars, we do IndyCar, we've done NASCAR, we have an offshore boat racing team. And so, we're big into all that thrill seeking stuff, and we grab a major demographic from that side as well. And so, it fits well. I mean, John's demographic versus the racing demographic and all the people that we pull from that area just kind of gives us this huge covering, and it's been terrific. Yeah.
I know you got your reps, but John, with course accounts, are you helping to lead the charge there and getting Good Boy into some of the courses you play on and seeing it more on those types of settings?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been trying, really hard to all the courses I play. Most of the courses, or not all of them, have taken them. I call our rep and I say, hey, this course wants them. And the thing is, it's tough because I like to go after like Club Core. They own a ton of golf courses. They're making an illegal John Daly anyway, so why not get the real one? Half the time, the bartenders don't even know how to make it. It wasn't made for one person when I made them. I started making these at 9 years old. I put them in a pitcher. My
Did
mom.
you call them John Daly cocktails back then too?
Well, it was me and my brother. Whoever got famous was going to be called a John Daly or a Jamie Daly. So, my mom had the big pitchers back then for all the tea, and she'd set the tea and the sweet tea outside to brew it, in that summer. And one day I just found that pitcher. I put a cup of sugar in the pitcher, and I put it with a load of vodka and a ton of lemonade and mom's sweet tea, and I had to mix it up. There's 10 of me and my brother and 8 buddies. We just got through the baseball game, and we drank them out of little glasses. So I don't know if they're 8-ounce, 10-ounce glasses, but a pitcher will fill up 10 glasses of whatever the ounces were, and we drank them, and we were all drunk, and we had a good time.
Oh Lord.
10 is the perfect amount.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Started a long time ago. Yeah.
But when you mix something, you've got to have good quality, and we have great quality in our drink, and I think people don't realize that. Anybody that makes a John Daly illegally, well, they're going to use, probably a cheaper vodka. They're going to use cheaper sweet tea. They're going to use, whatever powder lemonade, and it's never going to taste. It's never going to taste the same, no matter where you go. But now that we have this in the can, for all the golf course listeners out there, listen, this is 10 times better than your bartender's ever going to make it. Same thing with the bars.
Right.
It's a lot faster. You grab a can instead of trying to make one.
We tell it to our sales team. We say, if you walk into a golf course account and you can't sell a John Daly, you can't work for us. It's got to be the easiest sale ever, So, that's for us. I mean, we're so blessed with the position that we've been in and what we're doing. And, nobody really says no to the John Daly drink. It's just we need more people out there executing at the highest level possible. I mean, anytime we go anywhere, they're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. We want it. And so, what we've done with a small team in a short period of time is only tells what we're going to do as we build our team and move forward. So we're super happy with what's happened.
On that note, let's settle this once for all. Does one's golf game improve with a couple of John Dalys in their system?
I concur.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a no-go on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. Every one you drink's good for a stroke, right, John?
That's right.
Yeah.
So help us map out for our audience the drinks to elevate your game. How many John Dalys do you need?
Well, when I get to about the 12th or 15th one, I kind of get a little feeling that, like you feel like you could shoot pool, how you get that good buzz going. And then
Oh my God, yes.
the next 30 are just
Well, I mean, to Mr. Daly's credit, they are only 4.5% alcohol. It's the same as a beer.
Yeah.
So that's not, I mean, I could do that too. But you're right about the pool. When playing billiards, that's what they call it in England. I don't, but it's 5 beers in, I'm way better.
Yeah, it's performance enhancing drug.
And then at 12 beers, at 12, it just goes down really fast. It's a diminishing return.
Yeah.
And I have seen John drink about 40, 50 of them in one night before. So he's not kidding when he says he can do it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
John, you said they don't give you a hangover, but do you know what a hangover is though?
You've got a good point there, sweetheart. I
Yeah.
Well,
I could have a
I
hangover
always
about
drink whiskey
15.
straight. I always drink vodka straight, so you really don't get a hangover.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
In our drink, you won't get a hangover with my product. With my drink, it just goes down so smooth. It's just so easy.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, what's in store for this year, guys? Can you share any big secrets? Like, what are you targeting? Like, you've already gotten so crazy, big for a brand to come out of nowhere, right? What's the next level? 2 million cases, 3 million cases, innovation. What do we got?
I'm excited about the 19.2s we're coming out with.
Okay.
That's what I'm excited. They're all coming back.
Yeah, so we've got some innovation going on this year. We've been working really hard on it. Obviously, Harry, I know that you talked about this on your last podcast. The no longer for the resealable tall cans, right? And so we're calling it the Long John. Everyone's kind of got their pitch for the big ones, and so we didn't want to go 24 because sometimes it gets warm for people. So we did the 19 too, non-resealable. We're gonna be first to market. Ours comes out in 3 weeks. We've got it going into a lot of the C-store channels, the 7-Elevens, the Quick Trips, the Meyer gases, all that kind of stuff. So super excited for that. It's been a big demand, making a ton of product. We've got some lemonades that we're launching. We've also finished out all the individual 4-packs for the John Daly. So we launched the John Daly variety first. All we had before that was just the 4-pack in his original, but now we have obviously his raspberry and his peach and his blackberry in a 4-pack now. And for 4-pack business, they're just crushing it. The buyers kind of got sick of 4-packs, right? It's just it's a small pack, and Americans love variety, and so it wasn't a big mover. But when we made the John Daly's in 4-packs, it's like we're getting all new facings and new pods, and it's just growing like crazy. And so that's been awesome for us. So innovation this year we're big into, and then it's just executing and getting better. Walmart gave us 2,000 stores this year, so we're just making sure that we're in stock and that we continue to be in stock. And a lot of these stores they just want to try out one case to start, and they sell out of it and then they buy one more, and you're like, well, you continue to sell out of one case, so let's up the pars, maybe we'll do a stacker. And so some of these accounts they're rolling up to their second year, and we've built this brand loyalty with them. They trust the product and they trust the pull through, and we're getting big stacks, and that's where you really see our velocities go big. And Total Wines went big with us, and we're doing the big wow displays in their stores. And when you get a customer like that and a retailer that's really to support your brand like that, it really helps show the other retailers what's possible. And so we've been feeding off of that, and driving that energy into all of our other on and off premise accounts and programming, and it's been terrific.
Yeah,
And Total Wine has a great home delivery.
ABC Costco too, right? I think we're in Costco stores now.
We're doing some innovation for Costco as well. Looking at doing a 12-pack for John Daly there.
Nice.
It's the third largest spirit-based tea brand in the country right now. You guys have got the Surfside, the Sun Cruiser, and then we're number 3. We're just trying to execute on as many more accounts as possible. We're staffing up like crazy. We've hired 30 more people, and we're looking to hire an additional 30 people in the next 6 months, and just trying to grow as big as possible, as fast as possible, but keeping it under control.
Yeah. And when Good Boy Vodka shows up in Happy Gilmore too, you guys are going to have to hire more people.
Yeah. Yeah. John's been dripping that out a little bit, and even to us, I get a little photo here and there. It's like, hey, don't, that's a secret photo, don't share it. And then they finally did that launch video, and we saw John sitting there in the chair drinking, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so awesome.
That's fantastic. I follow you guys on Instagram. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think Long John is about the best tall boy name I think I've heard so far. Long John.
The Long John, yeah.
I ordered that.
Yeah, and John's known to be the longest driver off the hole, and everyone used to call him Long John. So we're like, hey, what do we call 19-2? Or it's like, we'll call it the Long John,
That's perfect.
And I think, but John, I don't even think we asked you. We just told you, right? And you're like, yeah, I love it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, man.
And then. Yeah, and then obviously, POS is big for us. As brands mature and grow, we're getting better at it. It's funny, I call it the shooting range. I bought a shooting range in Michigan, and I turned it into a POS center. And so now we have this, 40,000 square foot warehouse. It's got a shooting range in it, but it's got all the POS everywhere.
Wait, whoa. Back up a minute.
That's crazy.
You just rolled over that, Alex. You bought a shooting range.
Yeah.
And then you used part of the shooting range as a POS storage, or
it was the most
back
amazing.
Up the shooting range. It would stop because all that cardboard makes it safer. What's going on here?
Yeah, no, it was amazing. It was like the local YMCA or something. It had a shooting range in it, a boxing ring. It had all these offices. And we had an opportunity to purchase the building, so we had like 30 bathrooms in it. We knocked it all down. We kept the shooting range side. We opened up the inside, and now we just have a giant warehouse. And for us, it's like we're going through this huge growth phase in our business, and we want to be able to deliver POS timely to ship T-shirts or hats or John Daly standees timely. And so, and paying for storage and the delays. And so, we said, you know what, we're just going to bring all this in house. We're going to handle it ourselves. And so we put together an incredible, in-house warehouse team. And, if our distributors say, hey, we need, 1,000 buckets, it goes out the same day. And it's just been awesome for us.
That is so smart. For people out there who are maybe young, thinking about that, is the biggest mistake people make, is forgetting is farming out POS to a third party. They're slow, they're expensive, and half the time you're getting the wrong shit, and it's not timed right with whatever promo you're doing. I think that's really smart to bring it in house. Happy Dad brings it in house too. They have a big warehouse.
Yeah, we bring everything in house that we can. We control it. Customer service is everything, right? And when you respond to customers, even on our website, if they get the wrong size T-shirt, immediately you take care of people, and they remember that, and it just makes them more loyal to the brand, and people love to work with good people, right? And so we just want to make sure that we're always taking care of customers. And the thing about the John Daly standee is, I don't know what it is, but women go into these stores and they steal the standees and they run outside. I'm like, what are you guys doing with all these standees? We got videos of girls taking standees out of Kroger. I'm like, what do you put it in your room when you get home or something?
Funny.
So
that's gotta make you feel good.
Hooters.
Hooters.
Every time we put one in Hooters, it's gone the next day.
That's gotta make you feel good, though, John. Right?
Yeah. We had a national beverage program with Hooters. Where we sell the John Dalys there. Obviously, they sponsor John on his tour, and when you walk into Hooters, there's a John Daly standee there, and he's got his drink in his hand, and I mean, you wouldn't believe it. We get these videos. They're just like, these people are leaving the store. They just grab the thing and they walk. I'm like, hey guys, like, that's stealing, and they put it in their car and they drive off. I'm like, oh,
and it's not the cardboard, it's the shipping and the store that costs a lot. That's what people don't get. Oh, it's just a cardboard, no, I would steal one too. Dos Equis had the same problem with the Most Interesting Man standee. So that's interesting.
We'll get
who makes your product for you?
You can put it on one of the chairs when you do your shows. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, John Daly?
He's not going to talk much. But,
That's so good. It's so good.
Funny.
You know what else y'all need? Y'all need "What Would John Daly Do" bracelets. That would be good merch, because that's an invitation for fun. Okay.
Oh, I got to write that one down. That one's awesome. Yeah. A
little more fun than "What Would Jesus Do?" Love you, Jesus, but John Daly's just a little more fun. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's
What
awesome.
8.5 pound baby Jesus. I just who makes your product for you?
We make it in a few different spots. We've got some really key co-packers. One's like Red Boot in Des Moines, Iowa, and we've got Impact Brews in Cincinnati, Ohio. They're incredible for us. Make Our Vodka in Kentucky. Picking co-packers, I don't think the industry realizes it, but it's like they can make or break you. A good co-packer relationship is everything. And you want to grow with the people that are willing to grow with you. And some of our co-packers, we're going through this growth phase, and they might have two or other hot brands in there. And so, they're expanding their businesses simultaneously to us growing. And you're trying to forecast the year out and pre-build inventory, and they're trying to, reamp their production lines. And so there's so many moving pieces, it's I tell people all the time, it looks awesome on social media. We're selling all these cans, we got all these stacks everywhere. John's doing signings. There's 1,000 people in line. They're like, oh my God, you guys are crushing. I'm like, you guys have no idea what happens behind closed doors. It is like a fire drill every day, And so I'm blessed with an incredible team that helps and supports us through everything. I mean, we say at Good Boy, everybody wears about 15 hats. When we go to interview, people are like, well, what exactly is the job? I'm like, well, if you're looking for that, we're already on the wrong side, because it's like everything. And so the guy that handles all of our production, his name is Siva. He's actually been working for my family for 17 years. So he worked for my dad for 14 years. And he's been working at Good Boy for 3 now. So I hired him when we sold to private equity out of the business. So, it takes good people to build a business, and people have to be able to work 24 hours a day and sacrifice their families and their time with their children. And it just is what it is in this industry. This is a cutthroat, fast-paced industry, and you have to be dialed in, and cogs have to be perfect, and there's just no way around it. And so we spend a lot of time making sure that we're doing the best we can behind closed doors.
And you got to have more than one co-packer. The thing that I think some people forget, right, is that this shit is heavy. Okay. It's heavy relative to its price. So shipping is a huge cost. And flexibility, right?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, thank God we came from the shipping industry, right? I mean, we were building, 20,000 trailers a year and we were shipping them all over the US. And so, we had a really good grasp on shipping. I think that's probably one of the areas where we can sufficiently, save big time, just because we know the industry so well. So, but yeah, I mean, essentially we just, like you said, Harry, we just turned into a massive shipping company. That's all we're doing. We're shipping truckloads every minute, right? Everywhere. So, yeah, it's big. And so, now the West Coast opened, John's out there doing signings all over Bevmos and, all over California, the Go Puffs. And so, we are going to do another distillery out there, another co-packer, to kind of help that Ohio to California transit. It's very expensive. And so the volumes now, dictate another co-packer. So yeah, just, more fires, the bigger you get, right? It just never ends.
Yeah. The Rocky Mountains are tough to ship over because I don't know. There's this thing that is called gravity. I mean, you know about this gravity thing, John, right?
You heard of
play
this?
golf. Gravity is a bitch. You can't overcome it. It's hard. So
It's hard. It's hard to overcome.
what else we got, Jen? Anything?
John, I hope that you don't hate this question, but I have to ask, what is your favorite Tiger Woods, John Daly meme? Do you have a favorite?
I think it's that one that's been out for geez, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. We're on like a green.
Yeah.
His back towards me and I'm facing him, and some of the memes are just hilarious.
Yeah. There's, there's one where he's like, right before I clock out, and then you're like 5 minutes after I leave work. It's great.
They're so
Great.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
we played the PNC this year. I was walking out of the hotel or off the golf course. Tiger was in the gym or in his gym clothes. And I go, I guess you're going to the gym, aren't you? I said, yeah. He goes, yeah. And I said, well, I have the 3-letter word, same thing. Mine's called BAR, bar.
Gonna do a lot of lifts at the bar, right?
a lot of them.
girls.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, gentlemen, it has been such an honor to have you guys on BeerNet Radio. If you're ever in San Antonio, just please give us a call. We'd love to have a drink with you. I know every barmaid from here to Austin, so and I know that they'd all love to meet you. And you too, Alex. It's not just about John. You too.
Hey.
Everybody loves a guy that owns a vodka brand. And so any last thoughts? Are we missing anything, Jen? I just kind of went into our outro, but
yeah, no, absolutely, guys. Anything we didn't cover that's, that people need to know?
No, I mean, for us, everyone says, where can I buy it? So, we direct everybody to the website. We've got this amazing locator. Pop in your zip code. It'll populate all the locations around you to buy it. And yeah, product's incredible. 0 carbs. We're big into that. 0 added sugar. A lot of these teas have sugar in them. So we're just so grateful for the opportunity to meet with you guys and be part of your publication and keep rocking and rolling. And love to do this again after we cross the 2 million cases this year.
Totally. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, we'll catch up with you guys for sure. All right. Well, thank you for being on BeerNet Radio, and we'll see you guys down the road.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See ya. Go Hogs tonight, John.
Go Hogs. Let's go.
Yes.